We are live. Hi.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight for another episode of Live in the Lounge. I'm Dana.
And I'm Jamie.
And we're still next to each other, which is like so nice.
But the dog will be inside this week.
The dog's locked inside. And anyone that lets her out, they're grounded.
I made sure I closed the door really tight.
Yes. She's not coming out this time. I'm not running after. She ate our aunt's glasses.
And yours.
And mine. 2 pairs of sunglasses and added some design things to your sweater today. Yeah. So she's not allowed out anymore. But thank you guys again for spending a half hour of your busy weeknights with us. We are so excited that you're here. Once again, if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments. Tonight we have a very special guest. Her name is Alisha Carlson. I met Alisha initially at a Type A blogger conference, and it is our personality type too, but I think it was just called Type A, but it was a really good blogger conference. And
I think they called it that because
they knew it was me.
No, because there's an assumption
that all bloggers are Type A.
Or yeah,
I guess so. That would make sense. But anyway, so we met there and we've been friends ever since. And I love her bubbly, upbeat personality. She's so much fun. Her laugh is infectious. So if you start laughing for no reason, it's totally understandable. But so we're going to bring.
She's cracking up.
Oh, she's cracking up.
Right now. If she cracks up,
she laughs at herself.
We might not even have an interview. We're all going to be laughing for 30 minutes.
I'll be like, hello. No. All right. So we are going to bring Alisha on to Live in the Lounge. Hey, girl.
Hello. Oh my goodness, you're gonna make my eyeliner run. So I don't do lives for that very reason, because I get it. I can be a total spaz in person, but I'm assuming that people know that if they've ever met me. But oh goodness, yes. That's all we're gonna say. Oh goodness,
it is the word I would use, not spaz. You're a spirited person.
Oh, honey, you should see me do the Running Man in public. If I get excited, I'm like, this is a Running Man moment. People are like, and how old are you? And I'm like, I'm a 90s girl, seriously.
You and I, during the Type A, were the ones going around to everyone, right? After, what were we talking? We just started going up to random people at the conference and just started talking to them. It was during happy hour.
Oh,
right?
That had something to do with it.
I have no idea what we were talking about, but yes, we got to be good friends. Everyone knew Dana and Alisha at that conference. And at the second conference that we were both at, the one that was out just, I don't know, in a suburb outside of DC 2 years ago. Oh my goodness, we went to dinner and somehow you and I got separated. We were at complete opposite ends of the table.
Yep.
And what is it called? Is it a baked Alaskan, the dessert that comes out on fire? Seriously? Oh my gosh, Jamie, I wish you could. Did I take a picture of you? Because it was like watching a kid at Christmas, especially from that far away. She was just so lit up and excited. It was so much fun.
I was like, oh, this is an Instagram moment. I remember everyone was boomeranging it and stuff like that. But you know what? It tasted like crap.
That's what you said. You asked me if I wanted a piece, and I was like, no, I don't think so. And you're like, good, because it's not good.
I just ordered it for the gram,
You know, what else was awful that night was that was the first time someone tried to get me to eat, what was it, a mussel or an oyster or something?
Yes.
And I didn't go down. It did not go down.
Was it oyster or mussel?
I think it was an oyster.
Oh, yeah,
I have no idea, but I was supposed to swallow it and not chew it. And I made the mistake of biting it. And it was I swear it was weeks I was still tasting that thing. It was awful. But I learned I do not like them.
Was it Sal?
Sal ordered them, and then Katie was the one sitting next to me that was trying to teach me how to eat this thing. And she was like, watch. And she, doing the facial motions. And I'm like, I don't get what you're doing in there. Are you chewing it or swallowing it or just trying to get your tongue to throw it back?
Yeah, anyone who's watching, we're sorry if we are offending you, because I know a lot of people love them.
Yeah.
They're aphrodisiacs.
There's others that you can have without doing that.
Without that, yeah. We'll stick to, is it chocolate?
Yeah,
I'll stick to chocolate. All right.
That's a different show.
Exactly.
is passing me notes.
What does that note say? What does it say?
It says the link in your email does not work.
Oh, he wants to watch you.
Well, that was a little late.
Well, you can watch like the side view, actually live.
He gets enough of that.
Oh my God, that's so funny. Okay, so my dear, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I am a mom of 3 boys, ages 12, 10, and 8. Grew up in Indiana, live in the suburbs of Chicago. Yes, I'm married. My husband, Brad, he might be peeking in and out, going to get kids from soccer practice. Lover of travel and anything that allows me to talk. So.
All right. You are always like the life of the party. I just remember just like your bubbliness and your outgoing. You were so outgoing. Everyone gravitates towards you, so I could see why. So how did you start? Because when I first met you, you weren't Ms. Alisha Carlson.com. You were a different.
I was, yeah. So it was actually my husband's sister that. Oh, good. Someone else doesn't like oysters. Good.
Yeah.
So my husband's sister, she started blogging when our oldest kids were like 2 years old. And I didn't even know what a blog was at that point. All I knew was that on occasion, my sister-in-law was sending these little finger paintings to us and like a picture of her kid. And I'm like, I have enough of that. You know, we have 3 boys the exact same ages as my husband's sister. So our oldest, like their birthdays are 6 months apart. And then number 2 are like 3 months apart. Number 3 are 3 months. So when we go to grandma's, there's 6 boys the same age. So let me tell you, anybody that has that to be around understands why I'm going to talk about anxiety. But so I was watching her stuff and her audience just kept growing, and she wasn't just sending these emails to family and friends. And now she had, pages of things that she was doing. And I was a stay-at-home mom cleaning up. The house that we live in now, it's nice now. It was a pit back then. And I needed something to do. So I thought, okay, I can do this. I used to do graphic design for a newspaper. I have a bachelor's in English with a writing focus. And so I thought, I can do this. And I really shouldn't have been doing it because I had no clue. I was just like, hey, buddy, here's a notepad. Go do something with it. And, it could come back cut up or drawn all over. And I'd be like, yeah, that's not really how this works, is it? So I was just, throwing stuff at the wall because I was bored and wanted a hobby. Hubby was loving it because he was getting new recipes, but there was no real heart to it. So it was about 4 years later. And Dana, I don't know if you know this, but when we met, that conference was the first conference where I was trying out this new idea, trying out this different focus, because I had just, maybe 6-8 months before, finally took this direction where I realized that all of these things that should have been red flags throughout my life of anxiety or depression, they were just kind of, shrugged off as, oh, well, you inherited your dad's bad attitude or like his family's attitude. That's what it was called. It was called, the attitude of the family. And it ended up that it was so much more. And I finally got up the courage one day to go into the doctor and say, I think I need help. I think maybe I have anxiety. And that day was a whole turnover for me. And so when you and I met, I still had my old business cards because I was under the old name where it's like, here's some kid activities and some, random stuff. And I was going, okay, this is what I do. I didn't want anybody to really know because I wasn't sure if I was going to get those looks like, oh, what's wrong with you? Or why would you, yell at your kids? Or why would you be angry? I had all of those things that seem so negative, but yet it was really great because it ended up being, well, not great that I was that way to my kids, but a good flip in the story to realize, hey, here's, if I'm struggling, and if I've been struggling my entire life and didn't know it, how many other moms are out there that need help? So it was right about that time 4 years ago when I started inching into what has now become Miss Alisha Carlson.
That's awesome. I was loving your business card too. You had such a cool business card. Your old ones.
Your face was on it.
I told you.
And I have to tell you, girls, I think I'm like a long lost other sister.
Yes.
Last week, Jamie, when you were talking about organization, I'm over here taking notes going, reach on, sister. Totally my jam.
Dana, we made the mistake. I organized a closet randomly this Sunday it took 30 minutes. We should have done it before and after. It was like spontaneous.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
The best. I've been wanting to do it for as long as Dana has this house. I could not understand the closet.
You just had to climb over things to get to the wine in the back. There was motivation to get to the back of the closet.
We can now get there in less than 0.05 seconds.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I found this post, and you'll appreciate this. Today, I put it on my personal site. It said, I started jogging today. I didn't want to, but the margarita truck wouldn't stop for me.
It's all about what gets it done, right? What's motivating you?
So let me tell you, that clutter in front of that wine, that would be like a workout for me because nothing's going to prevent that.
So funny. Yeah. So now let's talk. Okay. So you had your aha moment, it sounds like, which gave you some confidence too, right? There's like a void or a gap where I might be able to, help people.
Yeah.
So where'd you go from there once you had your aha moment?
So, it's hard to admit to someone when you fail or when you have weaknesses that others would see as a failure. It's really hard to admit when you struggle or when you need help.
Right.
Think about how many times, you don't want to have to nag your husband for the 30th time to pick up his socks or whatever. But then take that 20 steps deeper into saying, I need help emotionally, or I need help with, my fogginess or these different things. Mm-hmm. So it took a while to gain some confidence. And it was people like Dana who were like, that's great. We need to hear this. And so now I hired a business coach because I'm very blunt and I like to have, being an OCD or type A, I like to have me a good old plan laid out. If I can check the boxes, right. You're happy. I'm a happy girl. I hired a business coach and he's just kind of walked me along saying, hey, let's reach this group, let's reach that group. And it has been amazing how many moms I have encountered even just in the last couple years that are reaching out and crying out for help or someone to hold their hand or to just tell them that they're okay, that it's okay to feel alone or sad or anxious or overwhelmed. I was actually online in some of my Facebook groups today doing that very thing where I'm just saying, hey, I know it's hard and I've been there and I know you don't want to get out of bed, but here's what one simple step would be for you to do. And then take these couple other steps, because I don't know if I'll ever cross paths with her again in a group of 30,000 people. I want to make sure that she knows that she's loved and that she's supported, even if she doesn't feel like that at home, maybe.
Right.
So now, so now my focus is helping overwhelmed moms figure out what their triggers are. And basically that just means breaking it down, being self-aware. What is it that makes you angry? What is it that makes you frustrated? Why are you stressed out? What are these little things that when they all get piled together, make you just want to throw your hands up in the air and say, I'm out, I'm done, or go back crazy, whatever it is. We all hit that at some point. And so being able to to teach moms how to have that self-awareness and how to move through that, to know whether it's something that's just, hey, maybe you need to get a better plan in place, to maybe this is beyond what you thought, that where you should go seek therapy. And I'm not a psychologist or a therapist or anything. I'm a mom that's been there.
You're a mom coach.
I'm sorry, what?
You're a mom coach.
Not a coach, no. That feels very heavy. I can't be a coach.
You totally could, though. I think it's very descriptive of what you do.
That is true. Let me think on that for a while.
You're a mom. You're not like a mom concierge, but you're like a mom advisor.
There you go.
A mom advisor.
Or if I were the godfather, I'd be like, here's how you do it. Just get it done. Can we just have like the godfather for overwhelmed moms? Can't that just be like my title?
You could totally do an awesome spoof on that. Oh my gosh, I see it now.
See, this is why I don't do live, because that's out there for forever now.
That's why I want you online, because you're so awesome.
Oh my goodness.
Your authentic self. That's what's going to draw people to you.
So that's what we do.
You mentioned Facebook groups, but like, how do people really connect with you, leverage your expertise and your experience?
It's funny. The people, and this just means I need to be out in front a little more. The people that really connect are the ones that have said, I have a hole. There's this void. I don't know how to make things better. I don't know how to get over this. They're the ones that like really put themselves out there. And I'm just like, hey, not telling you how to do this, but here's a few little tips. I think that they're the most, and it can be in real life or mostly in Facebook groups or on Instagram, where people can really bare their soul in a quieter capacity and just say, I don't know. Help me, show me, tell me, do something, make me feel loved. Tell me how I can love myself. So,
right.
It's kind of more on the quiet side, or people that I meet at conferences that, do the Running Man with me and have a love of wine, and we will be friends for the rest of our lives. So
I might have had a lot of wine with you. I don't remember the Running Man, though.
Oh, that was me. Yeah. You were normal.
You said people that do it with you. I thought you were
normal.
Of course, you said.
You're the blood relative. You gotta, change that.
I'll work on it.
So I have a question for you.
Yes, please.
So when you figure out what triggers you, like is there a formula? Is it just through conversation that you talk about it? Is there a helicopter going over our heads right now?
I recorded my podcast live from the beach in Puerto Rico for an entire month. In fact, I think you and I were chatting back and forth about this Facebook Live when I was in Puerto Rico, and there were helicopters and sirens and like boom boxes on wheels that they don't really have vehicles there. They have like okay, let's just hope that no kids are watching this, like a Pimp My Jeep, and like the whole back of it is filled with these amazing speakers, and like they drive, and so you hear their music all the way from this end where the beach is to the bar, and then they turn around. And so just to tell you how it worked down there, I would be recording or writing something, and all of a sudden I'd hear the music and I'd get up and I'd have to salsa. And I was like, oh my God, can you sit down? My boys were adjusting their cameras because they were doing school down there. So they would adjust their cameras so that they couldn't see mom doing, dancing in the background. It was, I get it. Okay, so back to your question, how do we figure this out? So because I don't do, face-to-face coaching, it is it's a time for you to work through it. I'm just here to give you the steps or guide you how to do this. So it is basically knowing, figuring out what it is that made you blow up. So let's say you and your kid had a fight today. After you get through it, you realize, oh my gosh, I just behaved in a way that I didn't want to behave. This is not how I want my family to see me show up. Journal something down. If it's just a couple of words, or you can write however much you want. I'm big on writing it down, because when you are honest enough to write it down, it's basically saying, I know that this is happening. I see that this is happening. And by keeping a list, I'm telling you, it can just be on a scrap of paper. Just by keeping a list. I was stressed. I didn't get enough sleep last night. My kid talked back to me. I am dehydrated. I didn't have enough coffee. Whatever it is that you're feeling in that moment, when you write that down, then you can start to see a pattern over time to know, okay, these are the things. Maybe I have not eaten soon enough, and you have low blood pressure and you're shaky, jittery, and it causes you to lose it. Or on the days where you haven't gotten enough sleep the night before because you're trying to have alone time and you're binge watching Netflix, and you stay up way too late. Not that I've ever done that. But, when you realize, hey, I'm just a raging beast the next day, write those things down. And then you can start to pick things apart. What people don't realize is that when we yell at our kids, when we get frustrated, when we get stressed, those are triggers for a reason. When you're angry with someone, when you're raising your voice and you're angry at them, you're either in mama bear mode and you're protecting your babies. Someone like the school bully gets to your kid and you're like, That's all you have to do with the kids. They know. But, that's one reason why you would be angry.
Right.
But otherwise, frustration, a lot of people will say, oh, I'm so frustrated. Frustration is synonymous with anger. If you look it up in the thesaurus, I'm a word person. I'm an English major. I look every single thing up. Even if you know what the word angry means, I look it up because there's so much more that you can learn in there. So I'm frustrated. I'm stressed. I raise my voice at my kid. Why am I doing that? I'm not actually in mama bear mode to protect them. Is there what's going on in the background? Anger is a secondary emotion, which is a red flag to something underneath. Like I said, I'm not a psychologist or a therapist, so I've done oodles. Like, I am the biggest nerd. You should see I have 60 tabs open on my computer right now.
Yeah.
And more than half of them are Psychology Today or some sort of, because I've dug in and I've done all this research. Why am I angry? Why do I feel this way? And to help me understand me. And then I'm seeing, oh, so many other moms could understand this better if we could break it down. And so in that research, I had seen that anger is like an iceberg. And so when you're in the boat and you're headed for the iceberg, you just see the ice on the top, but you don't see the mass looming underneath the water. And it's all of those things underneath, like feeling lonely or abandoned or maybe past trauma that you've gone through. It's those kind of things that are really popping up as anger, and you're suppressing the other hurt in the background. And so, that is above my pay grade. My pay grade is 0. So anyways, y'all aren't even paying. I'm just giving my info, giving my brains. But anyway, so it's more than what I'm going to deep dive into. Right. I'll say, hey, here's how we get here. And if you're experiencing these things, ask for help. Because hopefully at that point, the mom will realize that those feelings are normal and it's nothing that they should feel guilty or ashamed about. Just like with my anger and my anxiety over the years, that was something that wasn't learned it was modeled to me, but it went back generations. Like my grandmother, she was really not a nice person. And my dad's siblings, they all were not necessarily the most friendly people. And so, it's okay at that point to say, is this something that I'm just adding to my plate that's stressing me out? Is my calendar too busy and I'm feeling like I'm being pulled in a million different directions? Mm-hmm. Is that why I'm overwhelmed? Or am I losing my cool because there's something else that I haven't addressed or dealt with that we need to get to the bottom of? And, if it's therapy or medication or whatever it is, then hopefully that person is ready to take that next step with a clinical psychologist.
Right. Very, very selfless of you, and wonderful that selfless is the right word, of you to go into these groups and talk to these women and help guide them, because they probably feel really lost. They probably, like you say, chalk it off to something else. And just telling them that it's okay, and you're doing this just out of the kindness in your heart, and your past experiences is huge.
Aww. You got to do what you can. It's not the prettiest journey. And, there are things that replay in my mind that I'm hoping, oh my gosh, I hope my kids don't remember that. But at the same time, I think when you can see what it is that's stressing you, or what it is that's overwhelming you, or something that has been burdening you. So for instance, me not realizing that I had anxiety all of those years, then I can either choose to wallow in it and be like, woe is me. I have, I'm overwhelmed. I'm not going to get out of bed today. That's common. Trust me. But then there's the point where you say, this is enough. And I realize that even though it's bad and even though it's hard, I can move forward and I can help pull somebody else out of that dark hole that they are in, where they are still in the pit of it, where they don't see the hope, the light, the other side. So, yeah.
True. When we're stuck in our own shoes sometimes, and we can't, it's a new experience, or just to have someone come in and give perspective on it is like so enlightening. And so Dana just posted, is this how people can reach you, right?
Yes.
I spelled it right. Oh my God.
Yes. It's all spelled good.
No, but it's great. I mean, I implore whoever is out there watching, like, if you don't know, like, you just feel like off or whatever, with motherhood, it's hard enough as it is. And let's say you don't have a support network, or you want to just talk to someone outside of your network because maybe people are judgy. They are judgy sometimes.
They are judgy.
To reach out to you. I think that you're offering such a great service for people. I think it's really cool.
Awesome. Thank you.
I love it.
Thanks. Well, let me tell whoever's watching, when you go to my website, there is a freebie called, oh my God, what is it called? I don't even know. 3 simple steps to keeping calm with your kids. Oh my gosh. Seriously, I've only had 2
steps. A little time too. That's the fogginess you were talking about earlier.
Yeah. I'm overwhelmed, girls. I have all the lights on me. But anyway, so it's a freebie, and it's a 3-step process on just how to reel in those emotions. So if you're overwhelmed, you're probably going to be a little more frustrated with your kids and get triggered a little bit more. So those are just steps to help you keep calm with your family that can work with your family or in outside situations. And then you can dig into what do we really need to address here.
Well, that's awesome. I hope people take advantage of that for sure. I can't believe it's already been a half hour. So I'm going to do
really?
I know.
And we need like a sequel.
I know. Seriously. We totally could. Yes. We're here every Thursday, man. So I'm going to do a super fast speed round for you. I know the answer because you're holding it, but red or white?
Yes. I'm not judgy. I'll take either one.
I love it.
Yeah.
And that's a healthy pour there, young lady.
I thought that too.
Oh yeah. My husband was like, how much do you want? And I'm like, do not give me a tiny glass. You realize I'm stepping out of my comfort zone here. I'm like, more. And he goes,
It's healthy too, but now it's empty.
It's not healthy anymore. Healthy in my belly. Okay, so coffee or tea?
coffee.
Okay. Favorite flower?
Daisy or zinnias? Zinnias?
That's a good one.
Yeah, those are new
I like
ones.
that. Favorite book?
The Best Yes by Lisa Turkhurst.
Ooh, I have to check that out.
It is amazing to help you say no to things in your life.
I don't know
To
how
help you be de-stressed, less overwhelmed.
I'm like, oh, sure, I'll do it. Sure. Okay. A favorite quote?
I have two.
Okay.
One is be yourself because everybody else is taken.
Mhm.
And I know it is so cliche, but when it's part of that judging and looking at everybody else's lives and going, oh, it's so perfect, and realize not seeing the flaws in their life as well. When you always look at others and wish you could have a life like theirs and realize you probably have it better than you think. And the second one is by Rachel Hollis. It's in one of her books, and it talks about how perspective is, I don't know, looking at your chaos and changing your perspective is a blessing or something. I can send it to you. It's hanging on my wall. I don't have to remember this. It's hanging on my office wall.
We only want to use our brain for what we must. Like, we don't have to put memory in there if we don't need to. You have it on the wall.
Exactly.
That's awesome. And one more thing is, when you are not helping women to find their triggers and de-stress, what are you doing?
Traveling. We love to travel.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, my love. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. It was so good to see you. I haven't seen you in 2 years.
I know. Don't you miss blogger conferences?
I do.
Yes. I miss. Yeah, crazy.
Hopefully in the next 12 months, right?
Oh my gosh.
Well, that conference is not in existence, so I just think we need to have a conference friend reunion. I mean, let's just get down to the point of why we go to the conference.
To learn. We go to learn.
Oh, yes. I go to learn how to eat oysters and baked Alaskan.
All right. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Well, thank you for having me. I love talking to you guys. I wish in all the other episodes I could unmute and have conversations.
We could too. We haven't figured that out yet.
That's coming next. We're getting. I don't know how I'm going to do it. We'll figure it out.
Thank you for joining us and all
Thank
your
you,
wisdom.
Mama.
Bye.
Bye.